It's Friday's market wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. My name is Matthew Buckley. I'm the founder and CEO here at TOPGUN Options. Wow, what an incredible week. Your Florida Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champs after a victory, again, over the Edmonton Oilers. Man, Florida is the hockey capital of the world. Past 5 years, the battle for Lord Stanley's Cup has been in the Sunshine State. Absolutely love it. Oh, and the world is at war right now. War in Eastern Europe, war in the Middle East, and war coming soon enough, sadly, most likely to Taiwan and China. What's that mean? Like, that probably sounds really scary, and technically for humanity, all of this stuff is scary. I can't stand war. I can't stand the killing. I don't want any of it. However, I'm also Gordon Gekko and Jordan Belfort. We have been and will continue to profit all of these things, okay? Head to go.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. Why? Next week, I'm going to open up the doors Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern for a series of free live trade briefs. I'm one of the only guys out here, folks, that does this. Everybody else does a marketing brief with 115 PowerPoint slides, right? Death by PowerPoint. And then at the end, hey, join. And they show you a bunch of hand-picked winning trades from God knows when, 10 years ago. Not me, folks. Open the doors live to our current member briefs. You're going to come in and I'm going to treat you like you're a current member so you see our current flight operations, how we're trading and everything like that. And if you have joined me recently for some of our free live trade briefs, you're printing money. Last Thursday, we did a Tredge on the S&P 500, a trade that acts like a hedge. And as I'm talking to you, the S&P is absolutely imploding. Let me just go to a 3-day chart here. Look at this. Here's the open today, and we've absolutely imploded. That's great news. What do you mean great news? Why? Because back here, ladies and gentlemen, I did a free live trade brief last Thursday, and we put on that Tredge. And look at where the market is now, based on where we place that trade. So it's a trade that acts like a hedge, meaning pretty sure the market's going to pull back here and it's going to serve as a hedge to protect my long-term bullish positions. Amazon, SIBO, JP Morgan, Bank of America, some psychedelic stocks. And I predicted this, folks. I mean, look at this. I said we're running out of airspeed. Let me close the chart down here a little bit. Let's look at, 6-month chart maybe, and then step into the 3. I said this rip your face off rally is going to end, and we're going to come back down to, say it with me, this 20-day moving average, which is at 59.48, and we're at 59.70. We are sneezing distance of this 20-day moving average, and it just makes sense that we're going to pull back to here. We need to find some support, some stability at a moving average. Let me pull up the 3-month chart, and you'll see it even more clearly. I mean, there's last Thursday, me putting on a bearish Tredge, and there's the market pulling back. Again, I did it live. I did it for free. I don't do live trade briefs on a Thursday. I opened up that one for free, and then all of a sudden, I get hit with 50 million questions from people who aren't currently members. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just open the doors next week, and I'll show all this stuff live, how we're printing money as the market turns or goes up. Let's go. How are my S&P 500. Look at month to date, folks. Just S&P 500 trades are up nearly $45,000 on limited risk. These aren't that expensive trades to do, and they aren't that risky if you know what you're doing. I mean, hell, just with S&P 500 trades last month, I could have paid for 2 lifetime memberships. Okay, quick brief here. Apparently, some European ministers are meeting with Iranian leadership, trying to get them to curtail their nuke activities. Obviously, the president said, we're going to give them another 2 weeks. And of course, Iran still saber rattling. Hey, if you hit us, we're going to hit your bases in the Middle East. We could close the Strait of Hormuz, really impacting the price of oil, and a lot of threats going back and forth out there. Oil for now hasn't freaked too much, right? Obviously, Russia and China, Russia kind of can make its own oil, but they still get some from Iran. Obviously, China is very dependent on Iran for oil. So that's an outlier we got to look at. This week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, we got long-term bullish on Raytheon. Again, folks, we've been long-term bullish on Raytheon. I showed our new members, a potential new position in Raytheon. Why? It's printing money right now. Israel is running low on defense interceptors. That is a free money headline, folks. When you see Israel's running out of look at Raytheon this week. Here's Wednesday. We put on a bullish trade, and the stock hasn't looked back. I mean, this thing has been, look at that run. Post earnings, right? We ran up into earnings. It's a whizzism, right? Buy the rumor of good earnings, sell the news. And then the stock hasn't looked back. It's rallied from 114 to essentially 150. You're welcome for the bullish Raytheon trade, man. That's free money, folks, when you see a headline like this. Running low on interceptors, that Raytheon makes. And if Israel's running low on interceptors, that means we are too, since we're supplying them with them. Fed meeting this week. Jerome Powell is more or less said what he has been saying. He's going to wait for something to break, which is obscene because in the past he was, Mr. Preemptive Powell, right? I'm going to cut 50 basis points right in front of the election when inflation's going up. Excuse me? Yeah, it makes perfect sense if you know Jerome Powell is a raging partisan and can't stand President Trump. Obviously, the president wasn't too happy with that. He took to Truth Social, and too late, Jerome Powell. He's got a call sign for everybody, costing us, our country, billions of dollars, and the dumbest and most destructive people in government, blah, blah, blah. Wow. Well, one of the Fed lieutenants came out today and said, we could cut rates next month. Whoa. This didn't sound like Jerome Powell on Wednesday. I think we've got room to bring it down, and then we can kind of see what happens with inflation. Whoa. Now, it appears, in my opinion, Waller is gunning to be the next Fed chair, right? And I've predicted all along that about 6 months, what was it, 3 or 4 months ago, it was Powell's 1 year out, right? The president said, I'm not going to fire him. He can stay, but he sucks. I predicted that in 6 months, with 6 months to go with Powell's chairmanship, we'd see something like this. A Trump acolyte would be the the shadow Fed chief, right? Jerome Powell's a lame duck, folks. So somebody like this was going to step up and talk kind of nice that Trump would love it and be a dove. And here you go. It happened today. Waller saying we should cut, or we could cut as early as next month. So, man, it's pretty incredible to me to look. So if you just landed on this planet from Mars and you looked at a 3-month chart of the S&P 500, you'd be like, wow, we're ripping. What a beautiful market going on right now. And obviously we know a little bit more history than that, with the initial Trump trade wars and Liberation Day and tariffs. Folks, this chart right here has been free money to Top Gun Options members, okay? Bullish double verticals, bearish double verticals, defense stocks. We absolutely know what we're doing. We're having fun doing it, and you can too. So make sure you join me, register, even if you can't. I work, at 10 a.m. those days. Well, most of our members work too, but that's why when you join, you get access to our app, instantaneous trade alerts when I enter and exit a trade. So if you can't attend these briefs, make sure you register so you can watch the replay at least, okay? Go.topgunoptions.com/full-throttle. One more time. I'm the only guy that does this, folks. Free week of trading so you can see live what I'm doing with my personal money and the model portfolios, okay? Quick reminder, man, if the world going to hell in a handbasket is getting you down a little bit, check out our Maverick Mind line of microdosing products. I wake up in the morning full of gratitude. I take my morning brief, 1 or 2 of those, I meditate, go knock out my yoga, and I am set for the day, man. About an hour before bed, I take our night duty. I sleep like a baby, man. The dreams are awesome, and I wake up feeling refreshed. 100% legal, 100% all natural. And on this getmaverickmind.com page, get our merch. There's our challenge coin, our psychedelic fighter pilot, and obviously all our No Fallen Heroes gear. These things turn heads, folks, and they are conversation starters. Grab one of the hats with the Maverick Mind logo, or there's the OG No Fallen Heroes Foundation lid with our logo right there, okay? Free week of live trade briefs, folks. I'm doing this because I like putting the ladder down to help you dogfight and win in these volatile markets. Have a great rest of your Friday. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi. Whiz out.